Welcome back, guys. This is not ETA Prime, but AI from GamerFridge.com. And today, this video is going to be about a project I've been working on. It involves the Arcade1up NBA Jams cabinet. I have this cabinet for quite a while now, and it's getting a little stale. I ain't gonna lie. It has only 3 games, and I've been wanting to upgrade it. And to do that, I've been doing a lot of research. I've been on YouTube, scouring the tubes, looking for ideas on what to do with my NBA Jam cabinet. Now, I've been going to the usual suspects on YouTube, you know, the guys who are really into this. Console Kits, I'm going to give them a shout out, Retro Ralph, and another guy on YouTube. In the middle of this project, I found him. He was Greg's Game Room. Also, suppliers like Arcade1up have been really helpful in this project. So, what I've been doing, the idea I had for this project is to take my NBA Jams cabinet and then modify it without ruining the original cabinet, without modifying it so much that I couldn't put it all back together and use it as original. And I wanted to be able to switch back and forth from the main PCB board and play online. It has an online feature. It was the first one to do that. And I like my NBA Jam deck, the controller part of it, because it's very unique. I got it from Sam's Club. And the one I have, it has the buttons that light up, and it doesn't have the deck, the LED deck that lights up. I like that better. I like everything about the deck, and I didn't want to ruin that. I didn't want to touch that. That was kind of the criteria, but I want to be able to put in a Raspberry Pi or a computer. Kind of leaning more towards a computer now that I'm starting to get into this, and I'm finding there's some games I really want to play, and the Raspberry Pi just can't handle it. But I'm going to start with the Raspberry Pi first, but I want to have the option to just swap out, go back and forth between the original board and something like the Raspberry Pi. So to do that, I thought, hey, how would be the best way to do that? And in my mind, I was thinking, I seen on Console Kit, he has a video called Arcade1up Upgrade Monitor to Any Size. And I watched that video, and he was using a little board, the original PCB board, to HDMI. So you can spit that out to a monitor. And I'll have a video showing that, me demonstrating how that works. Now he showed it off, and then he was going to do a follow-up video, and nothing, I haven't found it, a follow-up video on it. That board itself is really hard to find. He had some links to Amazon. They're completely sold out. Now, I did happen to pick one up at Arcade1up, and it was $39.99. They had a sale going on. I think the sale's going on as I record this, but check it out. It's LVDS to HDMI adapter, and it's on one of the Arcade1up mod section. So that will output the original board to HDMI. So reason why that is helpful is because then you can take that signal and put it into anything HDMI, and you're able to take that and put it into a monitor that takes HDMI. So I'm thinking, hey, why don't I do that? And then I go get another one of those adapter boards for the internal monitor, that so you can accept HDMI. So I'm just really just converting the internal board to spit out HDMI to go back into the original monitor. That was my thought process anyway. Well, that didn't work. So the board, that little PCB board adapter that converts it out to HDMI, that signal cannot be read by those adapters for the Arcade1up monitors, at least on the NBA Jam. Now, Arcade1up says it will work with the Big Buck Hunter. They have it advertised. I don't know if that's just something they do. They said something about flashing the boards to know which one to have. I didn't buy the adapter from them. I bought it from Amazon because they were a little slow on getting me that board, but I understand supply chain issues and everything. But anyway, so I ran into that hurdle and I'm like, dang, how's this going to work? How am I going to get this to work? Because my idea is just to switch back and forth. If I had an HDMI, you could just get a HDMI switcher and just switch back and forth. That was my idea. So I started thinking, and then I remember Retro Ralph and others, but I'm going to give him a shout out because I was watching a lot of his videos. He had upgraded the Tulsa monitor kit and stuff like that, and I was watching, and they're all using this Dell 4x3 monitor. And so I was like, well, and I've had other monitors that I've been playing with, and I was running into weird things like one of the monitor would accept the Raspberry Pi, but wouldn't do the Arcade1up, or the other way around. It would accept the PCB HDMI signal, but not the Raspberry Pi. And it was just really frustrating. And then one of my adapters died in the middle of testing it out. So what I did, so I finally found I have a monitor that it would work, but it was the 16:9 aspect ratio. And I was like, everybody's talking about these Dell monitors. So I went to a local thrift store, and sure enough, I found one for $6. So I snagged that. So I'll have video footage showing how it works. So I have it set up now where I can switch back and forth between the PCB board and the Raspberry Pi. So back and forth. I can go back and forth between those two. And that is what was my goal was. My goal was to use the original monitor in there. Now I can still do that. Still a way to do that, because on that HDMI output board, there is pins where you can plug in the original monitors, and that's how you're able to do both. Have both the internal monitor and an external monitor out to HDMI at the same time. And I'll show a video of that too. So it is possible. I can still do my original idea of not touching the original cabinet, keep it stock, and I can switch back and forth. And I also purchased, because I didn't want to mess with the deck, I also purchased a spare deck for the NBA Jam. And my idea is to take that, gut it, and do whatever I want with it. And then I can swap those out. Those are easily swappable. Problem I was running into, because you're looking up that deck, there's no dimensions and things on the internet. There, for some reason, nobody has the dimensions of the deck you can use for the NBA Jam. And I assume it's the same for the Turtles deck. So going back and forth, trying to find that deck. People are selling those things for really expensive. They're like $150 and up. And I got mine shipped for like $80. And I was like, you know what? That's half the price. So I jumped on it. And so plan is to take that, make my own deck out of that, and then go from there. So once I have that deck made, right now I have a Atari deck that I can test everything out and make sure everything works with the Raspberry Pi. So I got to make a deck out of the spare NBA Jam deck that will work with the Raspberry Pi. Now, if I can find the right controller, I can switch between PC and Raspberry Pi and maybe even like a PS3 and put whatever I want in there, and then have an HDMI switcher and then switch back and forth. So I'm just spitballing ideas here. The project is coming along. As I was doing this, I didn't know if anybody else has thought of this. Greg's Game Room, he has a video called Failed Customer Control Board video. In there, he actually got his deck to be swappable. The thing he did different was he took his PCB board and put it inside the deck. Didn't want to do that because I don't want to touch that original NBA Jam deck. I don't want to mess with that. But he made it so it's all fit in one unit. He had it where you can swap out the 3 cables because he wanted to use the original monitor. I ran into the same issue. Now, if there's a way to get that signal converted so it would work, I don't know. But I can now, proof of concept, get that Dell monitor to do both. So it is possible, and you just install that Dell monitor and another deck, and then you're swappable. Now, I know there's other companies and stuff that are making swappable decks now, and I don't know if it works with the NBA Jam or not, but it's looking like it's possible. So that is the project I am working on. If anybody else has tried this, if you have a video of what you're doing, share it. Anybody who's been posting videos about modifying their Arcade1up, I've been watching them. I appreciate them. Fun little project, and I hope this helps. If you're running into a little snags and stuff, I hope this helps you. And one other thing is, if I did keep the original monitor, I would have to extend the wiring on the back of the monitor because those are way too short. And Greg's Game Room, he bought these little extenders from AliExpress. I did buy like 2 sets of those as a like male to male, so you can plug them in and extend them. I'm going to do that. I paid like $20 for like 2 sets of them, so they'll be here next month sometime, and I can play with that. And he had I'm wondering if you can extend the power adapter. I don't know what that is. I know Greg, all he did was splice the wires and make them longer, but he needed that because he put the PCB board inside the deck, and if I leave the PCB board inside the cabinet, I don't think I need it to be that long. But again, I'm really close. I'm really close to getting this to where I want it. And you guys have any ideas, I appreciate your feedback. If you need help in what you're doing, I've been doing some troubleshooting, but it is possible, at least for the NBA Jam cabinet, to swap back and forth between the two without ruining your deck. It's going to cost a little money, of course, but you guys have any questions, let me know, and I'll see you in the next one.